CII Saurabhji Godrej Green Business Center is an unique public-private partnership activity supported by Government of Andhra Pradesh, US Agency for International Aid and Firozshah Godrej Foundation. So this is one of the Center of Excellences of CII focusing on energy, environment, green buildings, renewable energy, water and climate change activities in India. Having said what are our focus areas from the Center of Excellence, the launch of the center, the launch of CII Saurabhji Godrej Green Business Center was formally announced during the then US President Bill Clinton, who has visited Hyderabad on 24th of March 2000 when he inaugurated the Cyber Towers, which is one of the first IT parks in this particular part of the world, in the presence of then Chief Minister and our President Mr. Rahul Bajaj, President of CII, with the technical support of USAID. So the center has been soft launched 12 years ago. So before preaching others to go green with respect to their own buildings or saving water and enhancing the energy efficiency, the chairman of the center and the CII took the decision we have to follow before we preach. So that's why the center wanted to embrace the rating program from the US Green Building Council in order to design and conceive right from the word go as a platinum rated project. And this building where we are sitting and conducting the webinar, the CII Saurabhji Godrej Green Business Center, is India's first platinum rated green building and first outside of US. And when we got the platinum rating on 13th of November 2003, there were only 2 buildings in the whole world which has got the platinum rating. So ours is the third and first in the country to get the most coveted platinum rating for the building. So with the support of the entire CII membership and all the stakeholders, we never look back on this green buildings and energy efficiency activities. So the agenda for the webinar for the next 1 hour would be, we would like to mention the vision of CII Godrej Green Business Center, what are all the services of CII Godrej Green Business Center being offered for the entire CII membership and others, the publications, the key publications brought out by CII Godrej Green Business Center, and the forthcoming event, Green Building Congress, which is around the corner. So this is the broad agenda. And then during the question and answer sessions, we are always available to take up the specific question from the participant. So the vision of the CII Godrej Green Business Center is India should become one of the global leaders in green businesses by 2015. When we say green businesses, that includes environmentally sensitive, energy efficiency, water and green. So this is the vision with which all our activities and initiatives are all aligned towards this vision. So if you see the overall structure of CII Godrej Green Business Center Advisory Board, the center is being spearheaded by our past president, Mr. Godrej, who is the chairman of the center. And then we have 6 councils spearheaded by the who's who of the particular sector or the council. For example, Energy Efficiency Council is spearheaded by Mr. Forbes from Forbes Marshall. Renewable Energy Council by Ramesh Kaimal. He is the CEO of Gamesha. And Indian Green Building Council, spearheading the green building movement by Dr. Prem C. Jain. Environment and Recycling Green Co activities by Mr. Pradeep Bhargava of Cummins. Water Management by Mr. Ranganath of Grand Force. And New Ventures by Mr. Vijay of ICICI Bank. So this is the broad overview of the advisory board of CII Godrej Green Business Center and what are the services we are offering under the various councils. So having said about the advisory board setup, the CII Center of Excellence's strategy is on achieving the global leadership status. So when we say we wanted to clearly articulate what are the focus areas. The focus areas of this particular center is on energy efficiency, second is on renewable energy, third is on environment and recycling, fourth is on water management, last but not the least is the green buildings. So in the process, we wanted to create a sector-wise leadership. In fact, we started with cement plants, power plants, pulp and paper, which are very, very energy intensive and water intensive. In fact, we have the world-class cement plants with respect to which consume very little energy when it compared to the baselines or the specific power consumption, what we call, or a specific water consumption. So India can proudly showcase the world-class cement plants, paper plants, and the power plants are fully operational, wherein we have facilitated, we have given our services, which I will elaborate in a couple of minutes from now. In the process, the whole strategy worked out very well with the support of the entire stakeholders and the CII membership in creating islands of excellence. So the excellent world-class power plants, cement plants, and paper and other buildings, it is already being created in the islands of excellence. And then we wanted to expand this into the other sectors or other parts of the other sectors and other fields. So this is the overall strategy of this particular center of excellence. So I will take up the, being in a green building, I will take up the green building, which will be followed by energy efficiency, then followed up by other activities of this particular center of excellence. So the Indian Green Building Council offers the green building services to the entire CII membership. So the Indian Green Building Council was formed by CII in year 2001, when the green building word was not so popular at that point in time. And then Indian Green Building Council is a part and parcel of CII. And the vision set by the stakeholders of CII and the Indian construction stakeholders, construction industry for Indian Green Building Council is to enable sustainable built environment for all. It is not one or two buildings coming up green or one or two factories going green way. So we wanted to enable the entire community in such a way that we create an environment which is sustainable for all. In the process, India should become one of the global leaders in sustainable built environment by 2025. So this is the vision set by the CII membership and IGBC stakeholders for us. What it started as a small movement in 2001, our own CII Center of Excellence in Hyderabad, getting a platinum rating, as I mentioned earlier, which has only 20,000 square feet as a built-up space. We are proud to say that with the support of, again, the CII membership and the stakeholders, 1700 plus projects are registered from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from Calcutta to Kutch. India has 5 distinct climatic zones and amounting to 1.25 billion square feet. So India not only has 1.21 billion people actually as per the latest census. So we can always say that India has also contributed 1.25 billion square feet. So put it in a nutshell, every Indian in this planet, in our country, has contributed towards 1 square feet going green. That was the vision of our chairman 10 years ago. So if you see the growth of the green buildings in the country, it has grown phenomenally in the last 4 to 5 years. The early movers are all in the 2004 and 3, if you see, they're all big corporates and CII members. So one of the apprehensions those times the community had was, it is only applicable for big IT officers or big corporate officers. As you could see it in the bottom of the slide, we from CII Godrej Green Business Center has given us a lot of services. In fact, for some of the airports to go green way right from the word go, banks are going green, colleges are going green, convention centers, government offices, factories, hospitals, hotels, institutions, IT parks, offices, individual residentials, towers or apartments, schools, special economic zones, townships. What we wanted to impress upon is, irrespective of the size, type of the building and budget and the timelines, all the projects can go green. That's what we wanted to impress upon. So the 1700 projects are going green with us and adopted CII's Indian Green Building Council norms or the guidelines. So this is the scorecard which we are maintaining ever since we started the Indian Green Building Council in 2001. So as I mentioned earlier, CII membership has taken up the lead. So almost 10,000 CEOs and top managements of CII membership and others we have gone to them, and then they are fully convinced green is the only way forward. So that's why every square foot of their office building which is being coming up, or the corporate offices or their own individual houses and their projects are all going green with us. In the whole process, we have trained almost 18,000 professionals in the last 10 years. And then we are closely working with various green building product and service providers So we have 120 green products available for all of us. In fact, we are not so happy with 120 products. In fact, it should be in thousands. So that's why this webinar is also happening, how we can work together in bringing in more and more new greener products and new services. Apart from CII membership, IGBC, the Indian Green Building Council, also has 1,300 organizations as members. We do have 13 local chapters spearheaded by the green building champions. And then similar to the IT professionals, we have launched IGBC accredited green building professional online exam. So almost 3,000 people are registered with us. Out of that, 1,000 people have already appeared for exam and 900 people are already qualified. These are the professionals who handhold many of the green building projects which are coming up across the country and away from the country also. So this is the kind of growth or what CII and IGBC was able to bring in the last 10 years by including this membership. So right from the beginning, we were under the vision of creating a multiple rating programs, because the requirement of a factory is different from a home and entirely different from an office space. So we are the only council in the whole country which has multiple rating program, which has 5 climatic zones in the mind and the national priority and other goals and the missions of the country, which has launched 5 different rating programs to capture the entire building space and the variety of types of buildings which can go green with us, which includes commercial office spaces, huge hectares of land of going like townships and satellite cities, special economic zones, factory buildings and homes. So if you go into the nitty-gritties of the rating programs, which I'm not getting inside now, it is a CII's Indian Green Building Council is a whole building approach. So right from how do you choose the site, the second element is on water efficiency, third is on energy and atmosphere, fourth is on materials and resources, last but not the least is indoor environmental quality. So these are like what we have 5 fingers in our palm. Every green building project should address these all 5 environmentally sensitive areas. So if you get inside into the detail, these are all not new to us. So these 5 elements which I mentioned now, which has been acknowledged and discovered by our own great grandfathers thousands and thousands of years ago. However modern we are today, we still worship ground as a mother earth or Agni as well as the water. So this is a perfect alignment with our own ethos, what we call it as the 5 elements of nature or Panchaputas in the local language. So that's why it has been completely aligned with our traditional Indian architecture. So we in IGBC and CII, we always wanted to bring back the last traditional legacy or architectural elements coupled with usage of modern systems and equipment. So it's almost like a rediscovery of our own Indian ethos. That's what we wanted to highlight here. And then all our rating programs are all aligned with the Ministry of Environment and Forest requirement of Government of India. Ministry of Power has brought in energy efficiency or a star rating program which measures only on the energy consumption pattern, and the Energy Conservation Building Code, which is popularly known as ECBC, and the National Building Code. We are working with them in bringing it on exclusive chapter in order to address the green building. So every green building across the country can go green. So some of these measures, like big projects, you have to go ahead with getting an environmental impact assessment clearance from MOEF. For example, ECBC, the Energy Conservation Building Code, are voluntary today. Tomorrow or day after, they may be made mandatory. When it is being made mandatory, many of our factory buildings or offices or homes, we have to retrofit or we have to do a lot with respect to bringing down the energy consumption or water consumption. Whereas all our projects, as you could see it in the bottom of the slide, all the rating programs, if the projects are aligned to meet IGBC's requirement, whether it is on the home or an office or a factory, when these voluntary measures become mandatory, absolutely you will be in line with the requirement and the regulatory norms, and then you will be even, in fact, you will be exceeding the expectations or the requirements as mentioned in these codes and the guidelines. So that's why the rating programs are all aligned with these norms and the requirements. So in the last 10 years, we are able to engage more stakeholders, and the IGBC's rating program has become national by choice and global in performance. So whether the building is coming up in Manhattan or in Melbourne or Mumbai, the environmental and the energy standards or the requirements are one and the same. So this is globally, we can proudly say that the performance of these buildings, whether it is a factory or an office or a home, it is truly global with respect to performance. So I will briefly touch upon which rating program one should go ahead. For example, if you are constructing in any corporate office buildings like IT parks or the corporate headquarters or developer-driven huge IT parks, can go ahead with IGBC's Lead India for new construction and core and shell. NC stands for new construction and CS for core and shell. So as I mentioned earlier, IGBC has come out with a green factory building rating program. Here the process is not evaluated with respect to green. It is only with respect to the building elements, with respect to the heating, cooling, ventilation for the human comfort, not for the process or the manufacturing. So it is a holistic approach which puts more emphasis on occupational health, encouraging or enhanced daylighting, getting into my operating or an operating environment, excellent indoor and ventilation standards to be attained, and resource efficiency. So in the process, workman comfort and health, if it is enhanced, this obviously enhances the productivity of the overall manufacturing facility. And this rating program can be applied, IGBC Green Factory Building Rating Program can be applied for both the proposed or the new factory buildings which are coming up as well as the existing factory buildings. And this can cover the entire manufacturing and assembly units like your administrative blocks, warehouses, assembly lines, cold storages, packaging areas, and control rooms, and etc. And if you see the services offered from CII Center of Excellence with respect to Indian Green Building Council, we offer the Green Building Certification. So all these projects, we handhold them and we always provide them the soft support, because our council has a philosophy of examinee and examiner should be different. So we cannot handhold the client and architect team on micro level data and everyday activity and prepare a document and submit it to CII and review the document. Nevertheless, in the whole last 10 years of experience and the kind of work we have done, we have developed almost 40-45 consultants, firms across the country who will be able to handle any kind of a projects, like as we mentioned, from airport to individual homes. That is one of the services we offer. And then we do offer a lot of soft services. If somebody wants to visit a building or a factory which is certified by us, wherever you are in the country, we can organize a visit. We can come down to your office or have some kind of a brief discussion with you or a 2-hour session. That is one of the services. And then we do offer in-house training programs. Your entire architects, the builders and the contractors involved in your projects can be pooled, and then we can come to your office for a 2 days or a 2 half a day or a session focusing on the project which you are having on hand. And we do have local chapters, and then we have launched IGBC accredited AP exam. That is also a service. After attending our training programs, we highly recommend and request people who are listening to this webinar to take up this exam. So this gives an entire perspective, whether you are an electrical engineer or a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer or an architect. This exam gives a holistic approach towards a sustainable built environment. And then we do organize a flagship event called Green Building Congress, which has become India's annual flagship event, and the people look forward to this event every year. And then this year it is happening in Hyderabad between 30th of October and the 1st of November. And we also launched the Green Building Directory. As you could see, this is a CD. It's not the real size of a CD. It is a mock-up. So the CD, many people, once they are convinced on the green buildings, the next obvious question is, what kind of a material I should get? Then where will I get? So in order to facilitate that whole process, we have launched a directory which is online now. You can visit our website igbc.in to download the entire content or keep visiting them to find the vendor who will be able to give a green material for us. So every participant who is clearing an IGBC online exam will be given this certificate, what you could see it here. So he or she will, her name will be mentioned, and what is the exam she has taken and how much marks he or she has scored. And as I mentioned earlier, IGBC has launched 13 chapters across the country, as you could see from the various cities, right from Ahmedabad to Vadodara we have. These are all being spearheaded by who's who of the building industry. And then I would request the webinar participants to actively participate in all of these, or wherever you are located across the country, in these IGBC local chapters. So with your kind of an experience, we can take up this chapter activities to the next level. So you are most welcome to participate in this chapter activities. So the last 2 years we are also working on the landscape, because the landscape is the one area which has been forgotten and then not done in a very holistic way. So that's why this was one of the missing link, as you could see it in this slide. We are talking about the homes going green, commercial spaces, factory buildings, special economic zones and townships. One of the missing link or in the puzzle is the landscape. So we wanted to facilitate the landscape movement, green landscape movement in this country, similar to the green buildings. So we wanted to transform the landscape, which many of us earlier we considered only as a piece of a lawn or one or two trees, wherein here we wanted to transform them into a greener, healthier, inspirational and recreational space. In fact, there are a lot of business cases wherein a well-lit homes with a lot of greenery is able to attract a premium clients who are willing to pay an extra cost to these kind of a spaces, be it an office or a home. So this would create a trigger. Already they started triggering a huge business opportunities and bring in all the landscape architects and other stakeholders to make a green landscapes a huge movement. And then if you see the vision as far as the landscape activity is concerned, the urban cities of the country to achieve 33% of green landscape coverage by 2020. So many cities, when we have widened our roads, we have built more buildings, the greenery is lost. In fact, Indian Institute of Science study in Bangalore codes, the built up space has gone up by 500% in the last 15 to 20 years, whereas the reduction in the greenery in Bangalore has come down by 70%. So that is a kind of a landscape space we are losing it. So that's why we wanted to bring in more focus into the green landscape. So that is a vision with which we are working. So very recently we have organized a lean green landscape summit. We have launched the landscape directory in the presence of the Secretary of Government of Karnataka, and then we have signed an MOU with Government of Karnataka to work on these landscape spaces. So having said about the Indian Green Building Council's activity, which focuses more on addressing the site-related issues, water, energy, materials, and indoor air quality with respect to the homes, factories, office spaces, IT parks, and townships on landscaping, we are moving into the next focus area, which is on Mission on Sustainable Growth, which is pursuing growth with preserving ecology. So that is the focus area. And then the purpose of Mission on Sustainable Growth, it's popularly known as MSG, to promote and champion conservation of natural resources in Indian industry without compromising on high and accelerated growth. So the growth is going to be there. The GDP is, we wanted to touch the double digit or sustain 7% for this year. So this may put more stress on the already oversaturated natural resources like water, power, road, whatever you name. So nevertheless, we wanted to have aspirations are very high. We need more and more homes and more manufacturing facilities. So how do we promote more and more spaces and more economical driven activity at the same time conserving our natural resources? That is the whole purpose of this Mission on Sustainable Growth. So CII has launched a code for ecologically sustainable business growth. This is a voluntary initiative similar to the Indian Green Building Council. It's a voluntary one launched in year 2008 by CII. So if you see the objective of this particular code or Mission on Sustainable Growth is to involve the top management and seek voluntary commitments and set self-targets in order to reduce the intensity with respect to energy, water, or to conserve the resources. And in the process, we wanted to partner and work together in realizing the objectives of Mission on Sustainable Growth. So we launched we had a series of sessions during 2008, 9 and 10. We got an excellent response from the CII membership. As you could see it, many of the leading members of CII signing, and then almost 500 signatories have signed the CII Code for Ecologically Sustainable Business Growth, which is a voluntary initiative. So the CII mission on sustainable growth, if you see the adaptation of the same code has been done by many of the Indian corporate houses and the CII membership. So if you see the main achievements of the signatories, the energy conservation initiatives, the greenhouse gas mitigation measures, utilization of renewable energy has gone multifold, waste utilization and minimization by design. These are all the main objectives of this particular code on mission on sustainable growth. And then we are pleased to mention, with the support of CII membership, there is an annual reduction in emission 779,000 tons of CO2 and savings to the tune of 1,300 million per annum. And in the whole process of the mission on sustainable growth, there is a major outcome. It led to a development of a Green Core rating program. Green Core rating program for the companies, which has engaged the entire CII membership and all the stakeholders. So we have launched a rating program called Green Core rating program. The system is a framework to define and assess the performance on the green front. To put it in a nutshell, how green is our company? So it is to monitor and sustain the green initiatives whichever we have started. So we wanted to sustain it throughout the operation of the factory or the service, and in a guide the phased growth. Definitely there is going to be a phased growth. How do we guide as well as to sustain the green initiatives which we have kickstarted? So the scope for this green rating program includes manufacturing and service sector, and this is not at the corporate level. So every unit, there may be some of the CII members may have multiple units across the country. So every unit or the facility level has to undergo this Green Core rating program. And this is the first of its kind in the world. As you heard from me mentioning that Green Building Rating Program for factories only addresses the factory building, not the process, whereas Green Core goes beyond the building. So this is the first of the kind in the whole world which addresses in a holistic way. There are 5 levels of certification, and 1,000 points are there for every member who is going through this Green Core rating program. 1,000 points can be earned. So whichever the projects getting 350 to 449 bandwidth will be termed as awarded with certified. Bronze, silver, gold is as good as the national best, whereas when somebody is achieving a platinum by scoring 750 plus points, it will be known as a world-class facility or world-class service. So from a conventional baseline, we wanted to go enhance it into the exemplary performance on energy and water efficiency, adapting to the latest technologies, getting inside the waste management, supply chain management, product responsibility, to name a few. And then this is neither tough nor easy. Definitely we have to do something in order to rise above the baseline and exceed the national level benchmarks, or to attain to the highest level of, say, world class or a platinum level. So, but it is achievable. That's what we wanted to mention here. So as I said earlier, it is not only the building or a particular water cycle or energy efficiency. These are the 10 pillars which govern the entire Green Core rating program. It starts with energy efficiency, followed up by water conservation, renewable energy, greenhouse gas reduction, waste management, material conservation, which focuses on recycling and recyclables, green supply chain, product stewardship, life cycle assessment, and others like ventilation, site selection, innovation. If it is not addressed in the top 9, whatever the other areas can be addressed on the 10th component, which sums up to 1,000 credit points. And the weightage distribution is like this. And then you can download these documents or the entire guide by visiting greencore.in. So if you see the benefits of CII membership or anybody who has adopted the Green Core rating program, is this builds in competitiveness, and then it gives a lot of clarity in order to conserve resources and explore newer markets, become a role model in that particular entire segment or a sector, and meet future regulations. As we mentioned in the building sector, whatever being mandatory today, tomorrow it may become a today if it is voluntary, tomorrow it may become mandatory, and there could be a regulation or the commitments from the Prime Minister on the India's reduction on the CO2 or whatever it is, it will immediately meet those regulatory norms. So these are the benefits already envisaged and achieved by some of the companies who adopted the Green Co rating system. So this is a driver for the environmental excellence. So to name a few, 50 plus companies are already engaged in availing the services of CII Godrej Green Business Center. So the list is only illustrative. If some of your companies are not appearing, this is only illustrative list we wanted to put through. Few of the companies are already certified by us, as you could see it in the different color, ITC, Bhadrachalam paper boards, as well as the Bangalore International Airport, BIAL at Bangalore. These are the two projects which is registered under our pilot rating program and awarded. So as I said earlier, ITC paper boards have achieved a gold rating level for their Bhadrachalam paper board division, and Bangalore International Airport has achieved the silver rating. So the CII Godrej Green Business Center team, the entire team comprising of the building, the energy efficiency, the water audit team, as well as waste management, environment, we do help the entire Green Co rating system team. So there is a huge service offered under the banner of Green Co rating program under the Mission on Sustainable Growth. So we do conduct a lot of site visits, do a lot of measurement. We submit the assessment report, engaging even the external experts on the particular sector, and strategic suggestions are given as a part of the report, which will further enhance the companies to achieve a better performances and enhance the sustainability of environmental sustainability. So right now, as I mentioned, this is under the pilot version of the rating systems, which is being applied almost across 8 to 10 sectors. We want to try it out in 10 sectors, and then we are doing it in 15 odd companies. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you can take many resources, like as you could see, this is the entire abridged version of the reference guide, which is freely downloadable from our website, greenco.in. So the soft copy of this reference guide always can be downloaded by visiting our website. So we invite CI members and whoever is listening to explore the possibility of registering with the Green Co rating, whether you are from the manufacturing or from the services. You can always explore the opportunity. We would love to hear more questions on this particular component. Next is on energy audits and energy efficiency. In fact, the entire team which moved from Chennai to Hyderabad when we built this Green Business Center started their activities from energy efficiency in 1991, based out in Chennai actually. So right now we are pleased to mention that almost 1400 audits we have done within India as well as away from India. In fact, yesterday only a team who have done a huge exhaustive audit has returned from Zambia. In fact, we have started overseas assignments from 2001 onwards, right from Armenia to Zambia, A to Z. We have done a lot of energy audit assignments. We are having 60-member energy audit team members who are experts in the entire energy efficiency segment, as well as on the sector specific like cement, paper, power plant. They have worked and then they have the work experience and the knowledge. And then in the process, we have facilitated these 1300 odd companies to save almost 2000 million rupees of annual recurring energy efficiency savings to the tune of, in terms of money, 2000 million rupees is being saved as a savings, as a recurring savings in these 1300 plus audits, energy audited companies by us. And then we do have a lot of portable instruments, almost 50 to 60 portable instruments are with us to measure all the energy and water parameters in any industry, right from engineering to the cement or a paper or a power plant or a fertilizer, you name any segment you are in, including the buildings. We have the technical know-how, people, as well as the instruments to carry out an audit, energy audit. And then in the process, as I mentioned earlier, we have created a world-class paper plants. For example, the specific power consumption of some of the cement plants are much lower than 50 units per ton of clinker produced or 60 units. Same is the case with the power plants. The pulp and paper plants, they consume very minimal water when compared with the global standards, as well as the power. So this entire team is engaged in the very high power intensive sectors as well as the other sectors also. So we can conduct energy studies, we can do in-house training program which has been tailor-made to whichever company or whichever firm you are into. If somebody is into only textile, we can do a training program on textile, we can do a training program on cement coming to your plant or on a power plant or a paper plant or an automobile. And then we can also organize an inter-plant visit. If somebody is from a cement plant, we take them to the other cement plants who have done this world-class energy efficiency measures. So seeing is believing is the proverb. So you can touch, feel and have a first-hand information from the plant which has implemented. If there are any shortcomings or pitfalls, you will be able to learn from them also, so that you will be able to see it physically, touch and feel it, as well as you will be able to see the results, what kind of measures these measures are able to yield. So we do organize a lot of international missions. We take them to world-class power plants across the world, the cement plants again, as well as the power plants as well. And the whole process, we have launched a sector-specific best practices manual also. What you see here on your right-hand side of the screen is on the power plant. And then we also organize a lot of sector-specific conferences. Since this whole seminar is about highlighting about the services offered from the CII Godrej Green Business Center, intentionally we have kept away the seminars and other activities. For example, we do organize a seminar focusing only on cement. We call it as a Cement Tech, which is running for the last 8 to 9 years. We organize a seminar focusing only on pulp and paper, like paper tech. Then we have a power plant summit, and then we do have an energy efficient summit, which started from Chennai from 95-96 onwards. We are doing it. Energy efficiency summit happens every year, and then there is a wonderful exhibition which showcases the latest and futuristic trends on the energy efficiency or the energy efficient products. So apart from conducting the energy audits and the in-house training programs and missions, we do closely work with the Government of India, especially the Ministry of Power and Bureau of Energy Efficiency. As many of you may be aware about the scheme launched by BEE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, what we call it as a Perform, Achieve and Trade scheme, which focuses on 8 power-intensive sectors. So we have helped many of these companies within the sectors to arrive at the baseline, and then we are also working with them in order to bring down their power consumption, bring down their water consumption, and achieve this perform, achieve and trade pact or a scheme. So we are handholding, or we are giving a lot of services to these 8 power-intensive sectors in evaluating where do they stand, as well as in bringing down the reduction in order to achieve and then enhance their performances. And then we do have an exclusive team which has been fully equipped and trained on the greenhouse gas inventarization, accounting the GHG emissions, and developing and aligned with the GHG protocol or ISO 14064. And we do conduct a national award on excellence in energy management every year. So this is the recently concluded energy management award, wherein sector specific people all over the country, they do submit the questionnaires. They do the shortlisted top 10 or top 20 companies, 40 companies they compete, and then they do make the presentation in front of the judges, and the top companies are being awarded with the excellent energy management unit. So this is one of the very good service wherein many people are able to hear from their own counterparts and competitors what they are doing it, and then learn and implement. So this creates a good platform to learn, network and meet people, like-minded people on the energy efficiencies. So this is about the energy efficiency services. Next time, moving on to the renewable energy services, we do have an exclusive council which encourages usage of renewable energy. As all of you may be fully aware, we wanted to reduce the dependence on oil or fossil fuel. We wanted to move away from them and bring in more and more renewable energy sources. And then we closely work with small hydro plants, solar power plant manufacturers, and windmills and all the renewable energy sources. Here I would like to highlight one of the flagship project which we are doing it along with the Rockefeller Foundation, what we call it as a SPEED, Smart Power for Environmentally Sound Economic Development. As all of us may be fully aware, many of the telecom towers, the mobile towers, are all run by DG sets wherever they don't have an access to the electrical grid. So we wanted to green them by using the renewable energy. So instead of not only topping up or moving away from the DG set to renewable energy, we wanted to, through this program, we wanted to create a lot of micro enterprises supported by these renewable energy sources. So we are engaging the community or the village or the neighborhood in order to bring in some kind of a livelihood, or there should be change in the livelihood in the rural economy. So this is one of the very, very interesting and a flagship renewable energy program which is happening on the rural electrification is also being highlighted. We wanted to, because many of the villages they are having mobile phones but not having a power for any kind of a business or even the lighting and the basic needs. So this is approach is aligned with the rural electrification also. So this we closely work with various government agencies as well as Rockefeller Foundation as well. So next is on the environment management service. So here also we have a big team working on environment management services and offering services for our CII membership. So we do engage or help and handle our member companies in developing the life cycle assessment studies. Many of our product manufacturers, they wanted to evaluate and go ahead with the cradle to cradle approach. So what happens at the end of the life of any product, or at when the product they wanted to throw it away, what happens? So we wanted to engage this kind of a cradle to cradle approach. We do have an exclusive team which is fully working on and empowered on this, and the technical know-how, as well as they do have a knowledge on life cycle assessment, waste management studies, and we do organize an exclusive training programs focusing on how do we manage waste as well as e-waste management. And this environmental management services includes facilitations of ISO 14001 and WOSAS 18001. And we do organize environmental best practices award. Similar to the energy efficiency award, there is an exclusive environmental best practices award. And then we also launched best practices manual focusing only on the above mentioned subject related to environment management, which includes waste management and a lot of stresses given on e-waste also. So these are the few publications. There are n number of publications published by the Indian Green Building Council, the energy efficiency team comprising of cement plants, power plant, as well as the pulp and paper, as well as the MSG and environment. These are only to name a few, and then you can visit greenbusinesscenter.com. I repeat it, www.greenbusinesscenter.com. Many of these manuals all of them are downloadable, and few of the publications are also priced ones. Very few of them are priced. So this is to give a glimpse of what kind of publications we have brought it very recently. So the next service is we are also facilitating funding of green SMEs, because in CII's main agenda is also handholding a lot of SME companies. So somebody is having an innovative green idea or a product or a manufacturing facility, how to take it up to the next level? If they are looking in for a funding, or they are looking in for how do I register my company, how do I market it, how do I apply with my financial regulations requirement. So through the membership support, we are handholding a lot of SME companies, as well as in the process we are joined hand with various institutions and facilitated green investments to the tune of almost 125 crores for 16 to 17 green SME firms actually. So this is another initiative or service, what we call it as a New Ventures India, from our own Center of Excellence on Godrej Green Business Center. So again, these are the few publications. As you could see it, this is the directory on the green building. Our cup of joy, this is the best management practices on the water conservation. This is the landscape directory which we are very recently released. This is in pursuit of green excellence. This is the volume 2, which has been recently released. The best practices on environment management. So this is all the glimpse which gives a feel of what kind of publications we are into. So that summarizes the services what we offer from CII Godrej Green Business Center. So we started off by the green building services, then we moved on